All right, let me welcome my viewers all over the world. Once more, HGH comes live every 6 p.m. to 7:30. And you want to be brave, I can want to say. You're about talking about fix the country. You see, the campaign or the hashtag fix the country, it seems that it has taken a political trend, but Sana Emmanuel Acheampong say Obi Bia war power. Not say campaign be either pressure group be even it's not aligned to the opposition. You go and take that trend now. The first thing I can and I said you say you say or you purposely to bring the current government down. But Sana opposition at me about. So right now no I'm target say NDC mouthpiece or the movement and it's been championed by NDC because NDC is in opposition. Look at the concern these guys champion and look at how the whole thing started. That alone should tell you say you're politically inclined or it's not politically inclined. Fine, it may have political bearings because we are there at some can say government will pay and fix you. Time will prove or time will judge the campaigners or the conveyors. Say a NDC wing, NDC proxy and NDC winger. But right now, we share normal it's like they are almost champion for what they call good governance. The major issues in the country, and almost government and fix it. That is clearly what these guys are doing. So I don't think that this should take a political line. Look, meeting IGP, baby. The next thing you hear, and they say negotiation failure, and they went to court. Now, almost state, which is on a part of the Ghana police, a seeking injunction, prevented these guys from demonstrating. And we saw that particular day because we thought the guys were going to violate the court order. Beefy. Grounds now, so demonstration with security and heavy equipment. We also get into that. Online, so no be added about. Secondly, we'll be talking about the current national security in our country, the manner in which security is being displayed. Does that meet democratic standard? The third issue I mentioned. Attacks on journalists and journalism as a whole. Then fourth, we'll look into the fight on or the fight against Galamsey. It has been for much that and almost die. Our man can very well pass it. We could deploy security forces because Vanguard didn't fail here. We deploy security forces. No man can say fair chile, no one, no two. Because the current new military forces go over 200 people. As more can say, more that independence now, they will be able to do the work. No interference from any political characters or forces. So a quick break. Now you get a Crawford line. It's going to be a very interesting night. And then an old friend from University of Ghana, he went on the line, a friend of Kofi. Years back, he was among those that almost started democracy. And then I don't know what happened. It's been more than 10 years in relocating here. I've never called Biba. Let me name number now. A friend say, Abani, I'm saying, I'm so going to be show. I say, yes, genuine show. You been Manasseh, so our line is so. I'm not so bad boy, I cry.
Abedim Pars, come Kofi Nata. The hustle and a pa on your ability to queen. I had it and that, and being you have maybe me. She said, 1 year you man would be. Ain't in a million, so make up baby baby no I don't name me there then I'm and I'm winning that I go to some as you see what show what can they mean the dinamente or the way you do the phone so the phone pack so your phone now all guide the see what show what can they mean the dinamente or the way you do the phone so the phone pack so your phone now all guide
All right, let me welcome you back to the studios. Yeah, core issues in the so soon. Yeah, the other gentleman will be good line so now Opia money take on topics that you're choosing. I know they are very tough topics. These are issues borders on the future of the country, especially especially fix the country. We are now you're looking into the security of the country. Then we also look into the attacks on journalists or journalism as a whole. Then how this government is the administer security. The standard is in a democratic society, is that how it should be? Because just was it yesterday or 2 days ago, on breaking Ramadan, or once more if I call some my Muslim for Is it Edo Feta or it is Edo Ada? Edo Ada. Yep. Haruna Idris was saying that now Ghana has become a police state. Read the comment, First thing I asked myself, is he the one saying this? But those security forces are those that were in charge of the defense of the country the last 4 years. So what has changed after the wounds having a Ghana a police state? It all comes back to the point say or Trehala or Musi administer security under this government. We'll also talk about that issue. So first, let's begin with this. With the Fix the Nation all right, with Fix the Country campaign now the whole thing started. Look, even though that's our tag, it has been there. I know said those outside say more patronizing more Twitter no say kofo be pre eta AUC side and them say they borrowed it, the conveyance in the borrow here. And almost started on Twitter. Within a twinkle of an eye, me I run 2 accounts or Twitter. I have DNC, me I'm managing DNC account, and I'm my personal account also. You say I don't know more tag and I started gaining momentum. You say ubiye share, ubiye pass a comment. Look, I see this as an awareness. Yeah. Some of us or some of you may not have lived to see. After late 80 to 90, time and age here for democratic system. Say I understand here. A few individuals be with the support of some Ghanaians and normal travel. And the awareness a break Ghana for. Say, what's here returning Ghana into multi-party democracy, meaning the then PNDC government, now say coming to an end. Because freedom, it cannot be given by the oppressor. You have to demand it at a certain point. Here's the case since 1992. You are accepted to practice democracy. But you see, the kind of democracy I adapted, You said the security architect, the democratic architect of our country is towards some probity, accountability, and justice. But since 1992, there is no stewardship in the country. Leader Neba, and I'll be 2 about man about being assemblyman, DC, MC, or MP, or this no. Oba, or nobody penny personal gain now or call. Into her country now settled back for a very long time. And some young men, no matter how political differences are or hatred or admiration with them, I think we should commend them. The conveyance next started of Ghana, Kwame A+ and that of Kevin Taylor. And almost started his idea with the support of those back home. Some person champion no promote these courses. No more nyoma bebre. Issues have to do with nyoma affect your neighborhood, like roads are enye, the general security in the country are enye, education system are ain't meeting international standard. Look, now they are asking and they are calling for accountability on these public officials. Very soon it will come to financial accountability. Okay? It gets to a certain point after they'll begin to question the politicians. You got into politics this period of time. And now the campaign or the challenge our guys if it's in the say. Make it upset now bring it grievances into public into demonstration. This is how I did in a start here. So the first thing Fix the Nation for 1 year, the IGP invited this is a summary of the whole thing. IGP invited in the negotiations, Ghana Police Service, I believe went to court. A court secure this order, okay? Restraining order. So a court secure restraining order. No, injunctive demonstration that was intended to take place as a Sunday, last week Sunday, 9th May 2021. Now, me put your DB or kakra. But hold on, I'm saying one of you guys never line, so now I'm in front. Me seeking a view on this. Yeah. Hello, Manasseh.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, not much. Yeah, go ahead, okay?
No problem. No
All
problem.
right, 1 second. Until my fellow other guys listen to so, okay? Manasseh, hold on. Yeah, Manasseh, hold on 1 second, okay? All right, Manasseh.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, let me welcome you. Now me try getting the other two guys on the line, which is Kingsley and Kofi. But I know so as you moving on, you've been on. When you say one is on the line. Anyway, you started topics now, Miss Sandy Brown. That's what we are looking into right now. Look. See, the first one you're beginning with now, fix the country. Just a quick summary about how the whole thing started here. Okay. So I'm beginning on social media. And now after how many police need and so we talked about Ghana Police Service, after negotiation in failure, according to the convenience, almost to without their knowledge, now obi more negotiation, na court, na police, a snowball mo akwa seeking injunction, okay? About being injuncted but injunction, like I said, by some of us we had a problem with the injunction. Meaning so in a copy, but me read a DB now my security take. I say that the High Court under Justice Rudley Aite has restrained the convenience of the Fix the Country protest march from embarking on planned demonstration dated for Sunday 9th May 2021 or any other date until restriction on public gathering is lifted. The restraining order follows an affidavit filed by the police against convenience of the Fix the Country protest march pursuant to Section 16 of the Public Order Act 1992-491. The Accra Regional Police Command is hereby drawing the attention of the general public, especially the organizers of the convenience of the Fix the Country protest march, their associates, officers, agents, assigns, and workmen to the restriction order and compliance. A copy of the order is attached. Okay. So court no I'm calling a court in injunctive but so second paragraph now court no can say you are with your legal background and so be educated kakra because we all know say we
a restraining order to be this broad then in scope. No, I don't see the locus. At least so a restraining require based on the fact of the matter, and if there's any justification for it, you can't just say until restrictions on public gathering or whatsoever is lifted, then the restriction should the restraint should be in place. I think it's too broad.
That's what I was also thinking.
It's just too broad, and
because
it
should have a definite timing, and at least maximum of 14 days.
Exactly.
But this is more or less like, even though it's a TRO, but judge, it should be like a permanent one.
Exactly.
Yes.
It looks more like a permanent injunction, a restraining order you are putting on the people.
So the restraining order
and
is
even then,
go ahead.
Oh no, you come in.
No, I say the restraining order in itself, Nekran. I mean, it's not a proper one, if I should put it.
Yes, the restraining order is not, and me, I think that even whatever the judge is trying to say is just a pretext, because you are using public safety and this COVID thing to deny the constitutional mandate that the people want to exercise, right? Yes. And of course, they have rights to demonstrate. You understand? Yes. And the problem with that is, what if perhaps some of us have come to live with this COVID thing, and this COVID thing has been going on, and so many other government activities have not come to a halt, right? The government has still been functioning. You understand? And this particular matter, as a matter of fact, should not be the only thing that should bring the whole country to a halt. I mean, how many people are going to demonstrate? And the people are only saying, just give us protection. I don't think the Constitution even says that people cannot demonstrate with or without protection. Is that what the Constitution says? No. So if you deny them, does not mean perhaps they can't go ahead with their whatsoever. But I have a problem with what a judge is trying to, achieve with this vague and overbroad interpretation of a temporary restraining order. Like you said, it should have given him a mandate that shouldn't exceed over 14 days, right? And so that is my problem. And, it's Ghana, you understand? Discretion.
Manaza, when you say it's Ghana, discretion, it doesn't mean it's stronger. You support it. It been a journalist, a voice out, and the government, and I go another issue altogether. Yeah, I mean, unprecedented. What is happening under the watch of Akufo-Addo government? I think that the government has just grown intolerant, and they are doing everything possible to use the state apparatus and the courts to subvert the will of the people. It's just unfortunate. But don't you see a danger?
Unfolding. It is. There's a danger. There's a danger because countries like remember what happened in Kenya some years ago during the Kibaki, is it Kibaki also what they call him, and then Odinga's time. You remember that thing? The second round. Yeah, this is how things like that hit. It calcifies in time. And I don't think with this occurrence and how things are building up, we are in the right direction. Because one, in every facet of Ghanaian society right now, from the craze, lawlessness, to even the subvention of the right of even the fourth arm of government, journalism. You understand? Right. You can realize that there's attack everywhere, and that is not just the question. The question is, it even made impossible for people to voice out whatever they are faced by, because the economic conditions in which they are, they can't even talk about it, let alone coming to talk about security issues and other issues that matter as a matter of fact. So for me, how we are moving is a multifaceted of issues. And if you are not able to tackle some of them and then take steam out of this bad direction the country is going, by 2024, something bad will happen.
Anyway, I think it's a good advice to the government. Because, you see, so I want to ask you, right, from your observation, is there any power in Ghana that can control the excessive use of authority by the executive arm of the government?
I unfortunately, no. I mean, you know how our constitution has been crafted. And that is just a problem. Me, in my own simple opinion, parliament that is supposed to be the safeguard on the executive, right? And control that check and balances and the courts, they've all been compromised. So you remember when even a simple version of ministers were done, is it in January or February?
Manazi,
and then
it's come to my attention, say the presentation.
Oh, okay.
If you don't mind.
Oh, Mami track
we'll take it.
The American say
yes.
So okay, I think it was in January, and now we hear parliamentary vetings, right?
Yes.
The Kaipa said the NDC minority in parliament at the end of caucus meetings now almost take a particular stand, say there were certain individuals who were not so much convincing during the vetting, and either they were thinking they will not approve those individuals. But like I said, at the end of the day, they approved them, all of them.
Yeah, they did.
Right? They did. And do you know even the most salient and useless of all the argument they put up for approving all of them? The salient part of it was that, obviously, it's very important. Fair. People understand that the parliamentary business that they do is different from what the public believes or sees. And if somebody is your classmate, and as somebody is your ethnic member, and as somebody is your church member, because of those allegiance on those fault lines, what is here? At the end of the day, they compromise. They compromise on what? The importance of public business, and the importance of putting the country first. Are you getting it?
Yes.
Unfortunately, that is how our country has been run since 1992, on this basis, on this same constitution. The constitution gives the executive too much of power. And just a positive what America is. Americans are always skeptical of government. They don't want anything that is too big a government, imposing everything on them, right? Mm-hmm. It's just the opposite in our developing countries. And the crafters of the constitution and whoever was in government at the time was doing it just because it wants to entrench its position in power. That is my own personal view. And until last there is a top-bottom approach. That constitution needs an overhaul. I was saying a very serious referendum on the constitution. What is it? There should be a uniform understanding that the constitution needs a review. And then change so many of the things. And that the first thing we have to change is the structure of the executive itself and the power of parliament versus that of the courts. Certain appointments, even to the Supreme Court. And then the issue of, I think the CBP was talking about it recently, that the prosecutor's office should be decoupled from that of the Attorney General. Remember?
Right.
I think that argument has come again.
Has always been back and forth. Yes.
Yeah, those things are things that will make our democracy be a bit more balanced. If you ask me personally, I think that what we are practicing, that hybrid system now, they're practicing, is also one reason which makes the executive too powerful. What is it? At the end of the day, if you are telling me that the constitution says you should select about almost a third or a second of all your ministers of state from parliament, and then a whole senior member of a political party stands somewhere and says a particular region gives only one member of parliament from a particular area, what is it? Into the incumbent government. And that is why there's only one person from that particular ethnicity or maybe region in government. Does it make sense? So at the end of the day, you are just giving jobs to people who are in your base. What is it? So what would the people do? The people will serve your Biden. Asandini was talking about illegal gold mining. Was it 2-3 days ago, right? Yeah. I was talking about how a regional minister and somebody have to step on his toes because they don't want him to say things the same way that he wanted to say them. It shows you the influence of government in every facet of our life. And it makes the fight against all this very difficult. And to me, the hybrid system has to also be looked at in this new referendum thing that I'm proposing.
Manasseh, hold on 1 second. I'm saying our fellow colleague in Abba, may I accept it also? All right, Kingsley. Kingsley, you're on air. Hold on. All right, Kingsley.
Yeah. Yes.
No, you're on air. You're on air. We'll talk about anything after, okay? Manasseh is so online. So
yes, I'm
will.
right here.
All right. Mami, welcome Kingsley now on join here. Kingsley, I'm saying you're talking about 4 issues. We're talking about fix the country. Yeah. Then we talked about Galamsey. We talk about national security today. Then finally, we'll look into the attack on journalists or attacks on journalism. That is the main issues that you're looking at. But you started with the fix the country, where we are right now. Now, say injunction on issue now, judge and a broad injunction. So we have a fellow colleague on the line. He's called Manasseh. Probably, I hope so with him now. Now, with the legal background to all my education, I said, Judge, what he's trying to put out right now, and I said, Judge, issue too broad a duration. It should have been a definite time, say a week, 7 days, 14 days, because the judge in there is more or less like permanent injunction or issue. No. Meanwhile, the Ombabeseke was an ex parte motion because now we more reps in you. Then Manasseh is trying to further explain say grounds to grandpa the issue injunction or question that aspect, you know. Say at then the pretext of say COVID-19 our own grant because COVID, no, we've come to live with it. So this is where we are doing him. The best view, but and you stop it during the program. You commented certain personalities be almost fix the country hashtag in the buy, you know. You who say the guys is almost take care there, you know, virtually. It's na Sunday. Almost a demonstration. But who say one of almost mouthpiece, which is Kevin Taylor, he has done very well. I mean, irrespective of how be differences on the guy is actually doing well. Also Sunday, almost take it to Twitter, almost take it to Zoom, almost take it to all the social media platform. So what do you also think about? Because you see, looking at, I want you to do this analysis if you can help us. How the judiciary and the executive power. It's like the judiciary who is supposed to check the excessive powers of the executive. And then, no matter what the executive brings, it's okay for the judiciary. So I asked Manasseh, sir, is there any power in the country today that can control the excessive power being exercised by the executive arm of the government? And I'll get you to the constitution, you know. It's over Manasseh, we now so take it from there, my. Sure, Manasseh, to the
you are welcome. Yeah.
Thank you, my brother.
Let me wrap you up. Actually, what I'm saying is that the Constitution itself is a problem. Oh, the 1992 Constitution, just DF Annan, whatsoever committee that came out with those findings. No, we have a problem with it. I don't know the intent, but when you look at the Constitution that we are passing, we are basing everything on now. But we said the executive is just made too powerful.
It is.
The others have become just like paper tigers. Oh, like my problem, which I will start with, because I think that in a functional democracy, all the three arms of government are equal. They are coterminous, and they have to work one in one. But there has to be a check on one another, right? But now, as you also rightly put it, now everything the executive puts across has become the burden of what? The courts, right? The judiciary. And if it happens that way, you will I say, the work of another branch will be undermined. And that is parliament. You understand? The legislature. So for me, I think that in these developed economies, the opposite is what happens. The legislature.
One of you, background, did it be all?
Yeah, the background is any media no more.
And the kids, let's all check your home. Manasseh, let's move on.
So in developed economies, no, the US and all these places, the Congress is rather wielding so much power. What do you say? I'm not saying that the power of Congress is much more than that of the judiciary whatsoever. But what I mean is that the congressional power is such that it puts so much power in play. So the executive cannot take Congress for granted. But a hybrid system now, practices here, where you tell me that a third or two-thirds or whatsoever of ministers should come out of parliament. What do you say? And they should come from the sitting government. You will I say, when that happens, what at all are these people going to do? They are just at the end of the day doing the burden of the executive. Wow. And I gave the example of the Galamsey fight and then the Sandhini's speech about 2-3 days ago. There are individuals within even the same setting who will never want executive power, to be taken over by parliament. But yes, and to me, I think that in order to make it a bit fair for parliament to function and not to be reduced to bullet dog. Is that how we say it?
Yeah, toothless bulldog.
We should give a bulldog, exactly, whatever they call it. So we should give parliament a different kind of restriction. And the system we practice, which is a hybrid, we should go away from it. And this is all going to call for a referendum, right? We can't just entrench procedures of our constitution which need to be changed in any case. And I know people in so many places have started to call for it. I think I heard of Professor Stephen Ade, the other one who is a lecturer in Rutgers. New Jersey. What's his name? Is it Professor Ade? The other one.
Kwekwasai.
Kwekwasai was also talking about the same thing. Look, we need to put an end to this hybrid system. I'm thinking, sir, if you want to go for purely parliamentary democracy, fine. You understand? Then probably maybe what K. Bougie and the others brought as prime minister or whatever would have been the best. You understand? So we know that the executive and everybody in that case is going to be chosen from parliament. And it doesn't matter which side of parliament you belong to, right? The one who has the largest seat will make government. And the government can fall at any time. Anybody who has the largest seat at any time can make government. It makes more simple and understanding. Now, what we are practicing now, we don't know whether we are going left or we are going right. And I think that is one of the reasons. That is why executive power is so great in Ghana.
Manasseh, go ahead. Obe wrap up my na me.
Mami wrap up
on that particular topic.
Mami wrap up on this topic. So what you are saying, sir, is there anything we can do to change the situation around the executive being so powerful in Ghana? Yes. I think that the cause that we compromise in the first place, who appoints those Supreme Court judges and all those various magistrates and etc. It's the same president, right? I think that fundamentally how our constitution is, it gives too much power in the hands of the president. And we need a referendum. We need an overhaul. We need restructuring in some of these places. And one of the places that we have to begin from is the legislature. Now, I think when we are able to remodel the legislature and put a quota or a quorum on some of the numbers that the president or whatever, and the legislature should make that call, right? But if the legislature is not restructured, and then they have to continuously do the battle of the president, it will still be the same thing. We can't fight anything. The president will become just a tiger.
All right, Manasseh, 2 questions on that. Yeah, all can same be. But I understand that constitutional reform now. Okay? So you be subject your constitution to full amendment. But don't you also think a behavior of the people, so that Ghana for understanding it, because US are so I very well. Those are called official positions. It takes the commander-in-chief to make the appointment to the United States Supreme Court with the help, with the approval of the House or the permission of the House of Senate.
Representatives.
Yes, House of Senate. Yes, Senate and then overseas are there no more approval or subject to that. But OT, Ghana is the same thing. Ghana is not the same thing. President they still needs to get an approval from members of parliament and send it to me or take official position. But that's what I'm saying. It's not. I know the constitution is a problem, but the issue here or the argument here is don't you think it's based on Nipanakasa Subai?
I think it's bigger than Nipanakasa Subai. It's more of ethnicity. It's more of religion, ethnicity, and other bigger fault lines.
Okay. So at this point, you amend the constitution. Go ahead. You amend the constitution. That's they will still hold on to that. There was a process of change.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing that is why the amendment can go hand in hand with any changes. The ethnicity and then the other things that come along with what you are talking about. And I don't know, entrenched things in society. But they amend the constitution now. Wow. Yes. The constitution is going to give certain changes on those fault lines. And you have to say we are doing parliamentary democracy, okay? And we know that for now, for instance, people who are appointed ministers of social and so belong to certain societies and are certain ethnicities, right? The same parliament now has power to change or make changes to those particular things without being entrenched in the constitution. What is it? It becomes more like a by kind of law. You understand?
Yes.
Within the bailiwick of the legislature. I don't know, it's a bigger topic than what this discussion will prevail. You understand?
Right.
But maybe Felipe, if you give all those powers to the executive, then you are making a mistake. But if you give it to the legislature, where it has to belong or emanate from, because that is where the people's representation is. You understand?
But
Manasseh, we can now begin. Yes.
Let's go back to this argument. Yeah. For the first time in Ghana since 1992, you have what you call more or less like a cohabitation system. NDC,
I should think that's true.
NDC nearly control parliament, or NDC controls parliament with their numbers. Okay, yes. NDC for getting this opportunity. No, I know. So why I saw analysis earlier on. Why didn't they use that opportunity? No, to screen some members are now to do by because if you're the top ministers of Akufo-Addo's government are retaining about 70%.
It goes further than it becomes the same allegiance on ethnicity, religion, and other things. Now we are always talking about. So you talk there. You see, in this society, it doesn't mean that some of those things don't show their ugly head even in the developed world, but they put in modalities and bylaws that deals with them. What is it? So you can't subvert them. You can't go further beyond certain limits or parameters. And I think that personally, the presidential system now, practice, it just festers and then entrench more and more of this kind of behavior. I think, sir, if it is parliamentary democracy. Hello?
Yeah, I see you too.
I think that if it is parliamentary democracy, let me tell you how briefly parliamentary democracy works. So parliamentary democracy, the leader of government business, who is the prime minister, is going to be choosing from parliament, right? Which is obviously the president, is going to be choosing from parliament, right? At any particular point in time. The ministers of state are all going to be choosing from parliament, right? But these ministers of state and the president are all going to be choosing from parliament, and they are all going to work hand in hand. So at any particular point in time, if NDC loses majority in parliament, there's a by-election and everything takes it like how it happens these days, any government at all can emanate from parliament at any time. And I think there will be more check even within parliament itself, let alone that of the executive. So parliament is also giving rise or giving birth to the executive. You understand? Yeah. So if it is one of your own and it can move to either side, I think that there will be more of accountability and there will be more of unity in terms of the issue making. That is how I look at it. I think that the parliamentary is not helpful as compared to the presidential is not helpful as compared to the parliamentary. But our way of attitudes, in Ghana, and then most of the developing world, I think rather the parliamentary is more helpful than the presidential. And there are other units. They said the Council of Chiefs, right? Ubeka said the Council of Chiefs were supposed to advise the president in making this appointment too, right? But to what extent? To what extent? They are just like they are advisory,
Right.
And
let's do this.
Let's say
the Kingsley bar. In terms of Kingsley bar picket from war. Kingsley.
Yes, sir.
I'm saying Manasseh, I really welcome so much of mine. We started the second topic. Add some to what he did about fix the country. It's not unfortunate, sir. Are people's constitutional right. Now, they don't have the right to even demonstrate against their own government. How can a bit to me? I bring in the weakness of the government for Ghanaians to see alternative. I knew only demonstration, only virtual. In a way, are we not creating a one-party state? Let's get your take on this.
Me that say, and let me greet Madasi. For me, anybody that is very interested and involved in the matters of Ghana, that is all we can do. We can judge. Now, I hope I can ask you one or two things and you can be able to give me an answer. And I need you to read something for me. On the matter of this, you talk about 3 branches, but about your if you can open John 15 verse 5 and read for me, I will explain to you what is happening in Ghana.
Me read it.
John 15 verse 5. Will be John 15 verse 5. Now what kind?
All right, let's do this. I have the King James version, okay?
It doesn't matter. Go ahead.
Okay. I say, I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me,
yes,
you can do nothing.
That is Ghana governance.
How do you
Nana say, I am the tree. The president, I am the tree. Parliament, judiciary, you are the branches. So long as you remain in me, you will be successful. If you are not inside me, you will do nothing. Ghana, we have 1 arm and 2 limbs. We don't have 3 arms of government. Let's stop this thing. We don't have 3 arms of government. We have 1 arm and 2 limbs. They are all inside. They are branches on the tree. The more we continue to lie to ourselves, say we have 3 arms of government, we continue to just hide that around. Look, people don't go to parliament as a destination. Just like many of our people in African countries, Ghana for maybe more African countries, they use their other countries as an audition to go to UK or US. They use parliament to become ministers. So you go to parliament and you are auditioning to become a minister. Abacha, when you know, say, you're inter schools. When you're playing inter schools and you want to go to region, what do? You audition, you play very well to impress those who are going to appoint you to region. And when you go to region, you want to go to nationals, you play very well, and so that you go to nationals. That is what is happening in Parliament of Ghana. Even when appointments are fully being made, just like Yehuya and the past governments in Ekromuha, we saw the guy who finished, I think, before Bar, was it Bar, before Bar, Minkai Wunabekai. He was literally appointed from CNN, from TV and interviews. You have to audition for it. So people go to Parliament not because they want to serve their constituents, but they want to become ministers because they are aware, say, that is supposed to choose some people from Parliament. And, they do what will impress the man. Mind you, okay, we are here. The information is here. I'm grateful, sir. Your internet is running very fast. Look, before Parliament started and chose Speaker, what happened a day before? Did the MPP Nanado don't meet all the MPs in Alisa Hotel? What was that for?
It was one of the allegations I know. Or I, as a person, cannot conclude.
Okay. So, see, again, that is the thing that we do. Like some of the things, when I say it, I said it is on the internet. So just type it. You see my journal, like you see another walking out of Alisa Hotel. The pictures are there.
Oh yes. So, what was it? Kingsley, you
I'm saying it's not an allegation. I'm saying.
Once you see what quote source, there's an authority back in it.
Yes.
Mimi read it to that.
No, I'm saying I'm glad. That is why I said that I'm glad your internet is working fast. So check 2020 Ghana Parliament, President of Ghana. He met MPs in Alisa Hotel. This is fact. This is not my journal. This is everywhere. This is factual. So it is no longer an allegation. Allegation is and that is not allegation. This is factual. He met them. The allegation part could be, say, the monies they got, the gift they got to do the bidding of the president. Well, that is an allegation because really nobody has reported that. But we know, say, the president will not meet the MPs in an Alisa Hotel for nothing. He went there to tell them, this is what I want. And they all sat down there and said, yes, sir. Yes, sir, master. You see, I agree with you. And I agree with Manasseh. So there is some aspect of our constitution that needs to be changed. Again, Abasa, you are law. You see, so long as the funny thing about Ghana and many African countries is we copy, but we copy and leave some. Take almost every African country, I think apart from Kenya and South Africa. Every single one of them, Abacha, have read a lot of their constitutions. The wording is the same. Indeed, almost all of them start like the USA. We, the people of the Republic of. The same. Nothing changes. And when they get to very important parts, they skip it. You can begin to download right now. All African countries, they are a constitution. I think apart from Kenya, almost every single one of them start from we, the people of the same thing, like United States. Nobody can show. Copy and paste them, but the good part, skip it. Check it.
But you see,
so
my issue is Kingsley. Simple, copy and I say, go by the letters and the spirit of the Constitution. I don't think there's anything wrong.
Again, look, Abacha, to tell you how bad our copy is, take Ghana driving school book. Where read the driving school book? Dear Crossing, Ghana. Dear Crossing, Ghana. Dear Crossing, where is the deer crossing?
Zebra crossing.
No. Zebra crossing is there, but I'm talking about the one that they say, like, in the US.
Oh, you mean the other one? Maybe we don't have zebra crossing.
Yeah, exactly. Zebra crossing. But I don't they say because of maybe the black and white colors. But deer crossing, they will tell you, be careful, like deer crossing. We have all of that in our driving license book in Ghana. Go and read the books, the details. You see, directly US one. And the prof, the English, the everything, the things that we have not seen before, it is in our book. Because we do not, like, for example, there is. I have done traffic work. By God's grace, I've worked with the city of Durham. So I know what filling strip is in driving. In Ghana, we don't have filling strips. But in our books, we have filling strips. Somebody said, if and free, how did it get there? Did the person copy? Why drink a crack? Did the person think about it? No, we did not. We just copy and paste, just change Ghana. But so let's make progress. Parliament, we know, so they are auditioning. Now, the judiciary, they see. You see, for me, this whole thing, let me this out. Why do you think, say, James Comey was doing his work well? Why do you think, say, Muller was doing his work well. Why do you think the senators? Why do you think they are doing their work well? Because they chose. Why do you think when the I will not agree on the I will not agree on the election? I will agree on the election. Why do you think the defense chief or whatever his name is in the US? Why did he release a statement that we are here to defend the Constitution? He didn't say we defend party. He didn't say we defend the president. He said we would defend the Constitution.
Yes, because
why
you
do you
take an allegiance to defend the Constitution, meaning in a way, directly or indirectly, it's the people that you are defending. That's why you pledge allegiance to the Constitution, not
exactly.
Yes.
But the more important thing is that all of these things, the single factor that is existing in all of them is patriotism. Mm-hmm. Patriotism. When you are patriotic to your country, look, even in MPP, even in NDC, people who like please appear for me.
Yes.
They are demonized because you are not you are not paying allegiance to the sitting president.
Yes.
Harun Ezeku made a statement, and it was a crime because he was not paying allegiance to the sitting president. He was paying allegiance to the Constitution. So if what for me should change, and I always say, look, let us start today. When we begin to ingrain in the children's brain that your allegiance to the country, to the people is more important. If the people realize that, then the judges, look, Supreme Court judges, look at Malawi. Look at Malawi.
Yeah, I read that ruling. Even though it wasn't the full ruling, but I read the ruling. You could see the logic and how they got to the conclusion. Yes, I read that.
Yes, but forget about even the ruling. What about the bribery now? Supreme Court judges came out to say that the president is trying to bribe us.
Yeah, but
they came out. Look,
and then I kind of almost because we did before to say but
yes,
the people they are in charge. They've allowed to respect the Constitution.
Yes.
They did not succumb to precedent.
I don't know much about the Malawi experience as far as Malawi as a country is concerned, but I'm very elated by this ruling, and I also read the ruling.
Oh, you did,
I don't know. But I don't know if it cuts across other aspects of their democracy as well. But Sub-Saharan Africa, the same problems you are faced with. If you go a little bit further down, ethnicity, tribal jingoism, religious fanaticism, these things are not so much as it is in the West. And they are dodging our steps. And at the end of it all, Abacha, I'm here. But a bit surprise you say, it's not only about the NDC party itself, that is labeled as a party belonging to certain number of people or certain ethnic people. What is here?
Oh, I mean, I said MPP I can't base.
I want to give you a very quick rebuttal. There was a time here, I think Moses Asaga of another person was then the boss of GMPC. And a cousin of mine applied for a job. Because I could tell you from the person I met at the front desk to Asaga's office, everybody was an audience. Start travel marks. I'm not just preposterously making something up. What is here?
Oh, no.
But at least the language they were speaking, they said the whole place to be like their own market. I see their father's cocoa. What is here? And I was like, what if the next boss is also an account? Are you getting it? That is the kind of life we behave or we live in. And it has been calcified over so many generations. I don't know the same thing we do here.
Okay.
All right, Kingsley Manasi, look, we're supposed to close exactly 7:30. I think we are only left for 30 minutes. Let's do this, guys. Kingsley, we are still on the first topic. I know it's a very important thing. Why don't you direct it now if you're concluding on that first topic and fix the country? The government, the guys have no option than somebody taking it virtual. Is that a democratic way of doing things?
Martin, the unfortunate thing is that, again, I understand the part of tribalism and all of that. I agree. There is this influence of different languages. I agree. But again, the issue that we are talking about for me lays with patriotism. You see, the reason why if me, Kingsley, I'm chosen as a minister, chances are that I will feel comfortable with some group of people is because I want allegiance to me. Exactly. But not to the country. But if allegiance is to the country, then I'm not worried. Because I still say, look, if this person is close to me, nobody can come and kill me. Nobody can come and poison me. So I surround myself with these people.
Yes. But at the end of the day, when you are choosing these people, one, it's a selection. And yet polygraph that the people are going to be subjected to. And unfortunately, the people that we get at the end of the day, I'm making sense on the same line of reasoning you're having. They want to owe allegiance to the same executive head now air pointing. And yes, sir.
Right. So yes. So you see.
So at the end of the day, why would they do so? Is it a question of character and not a question of precedence?
That's what I asked you, Manasseh. Because when we ask that question, during the submission, I asked you the same exact question.
I remember.
Yeah. So let me bring this thing to a close, and then I will.
Guys, we still have 3 more topics from what is happening. Major second topic and then third into one.
Let me just get go. Okay, so what I'm saying is this: patriotism and bringing patriotism into us as a people, as a country, because it's very important. Because look, even this country, they go on demonstration, they do all of that, but they are doing it, so far as they are concerned, for structural changes for the country. In Ghana, we have seen people where they don't care about government work. We do it as though they are buying their media. But once we begin to think, say, this thing is to the country, our worry about the fact that this person must come from, look, the Muhammad grew up in the north. And so chances are that he has grown up with Kojo Mensah, who also went to school with him in the north, Ajah Mensah. So he feels that these people will be loyal to me, but not necessarily to the country. And so it is possible that if it is an Ewa president, you see a lot of Ewas. If it is an Acheampong president, you see a lot of Acheampong, because he wants loyalty to him, not to the country. So I'm saying that let's change the mindset of our people. Let's ingrain into our brains patriotism. Now let's get to the issue of fix the country.
Gentlemen, let's do this. Look. What do you think, sir, based on your political socialization, how do you form your political parties, I affect your system of government? Me too.
Let me also make a.
Let me. But you were talking. I muted myself because otherwise we'll just keep going front and back. I'm not going to give you 1 minute. I don't mind. Let me just use that 1 minute and just finish up, and then you can switch. I really don't have a problem with that. Now you see, Abacha, there is an aspect of language that is bad. That is destroying Africa. I agree, but my brother, there is absolutely nothing wrong with a political party having a stronghold. Why? Don't we know the Democrat? Don't we know blue states in this country?
Yes,
don't we know red? Don't we know red states? So having a region to follow a political party is not new. Ashanti region following MPP is not new. But the only problem is that in our case, we have millions of languages, and languages kill people. Mind you, in the Bible, the same Bible that we quoted before I started, it said that God said these people have one mouth, they have one tongue, and so they were building a tower of Babel. I said, let me bring confusion to let them speak different languages. So different languages have its own problem. We can get to that later. What I'm saying is, having a stronghold is not a bad idea. Let me deal with face the country devil, and then we can get out. I can get out of it. Now. Abacha, mind you, this is 26 years of demonstration.
Right.
This is 2 years of closing Radio Go Down. This is, I think, 15 years and also 17 years of May 9 disaster. That was May 9, the stadium disaster. Nanka, people wanted to go on the street and demonstrate. There is a million of things as a country we could have done. Mind you, what was Kumupreko? Just one line and I'll get back to the topic. Kumupreko was the fact that the VAT was going to be introduced.
7.5 tax.
Yes. VAT 7.5 that Nanado and the people said they don't agree with. So 1995 they fought against it badly. Eventually it was introduced in 1997. One would have thought MEP coming back to power, the same people coming back to power in 2000, they would have changed it and changed it. But what did they do? Kufo came and doubled it to 15%. Let's not go into that. Let's put it to the side. I am saying, as a country, yes, COVID is there. But it's just like in the US, people demonstrate. And what does the police do? They stand by. Yes, they set up a curfew time. But during the demonstration period, they allow them. They go on the street, even with all the bad COVID and everything. I'm saying that. The very moment that these people think the country wanted to demonstrate, I said 3 things. I say, one, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is either going to travel out of the country. Two, he's going to make sure that it doesn't happen. Or three, they are going to be beaten very badly. That is what I said far before. Because Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo does not like this stuff, does not like demonstration, period. If they wanted to do it, the police could have sat down. Mind you, the conveners said they were driven into a cabinet meeting and all of that was alleged before even the so-called date. If the police and the government wanted to allow this to happen, just as it has always happened for the most part, and some other governments, they could have said, listen, guys, we get your point. If you don't mind, cut your numbers down, give us 100 people, we will walk with you, we'll walk through the street, and then you go here, present your petition.
All right, guys, let me pose this question to two of you now and concluding on that, because look, we've done an hour just on one topic. We will not be fair to the other topics. It's equally important. Look, so now you want to tell us the executive controls the legislature, the executive controls the judiciary. Can we conclude on that?
Yes, I think that is exactly how it seems in Ghana.
But you see, when it happens what don't you think, sir, it redefines the ideology now you run Ukrumono? Because you can't say democratic society should be like this.
It does.
Now, guys, you're combining what we call the current national security under Nana Akufo-Addo, then attacks on journalists. Taking it from 2017 and MPP taking government, we've seen what we call the show of force. How you display your security forces now. Okay? And the GF and the Ghana Armed Forces. You video here, the first place I mentioned was Ghana Armed Forces on platform or Facebook. I know there are a lot of officers, junior ranks. I share video be including your gospel. I share be we must send me personal message. I can thank you. The question I me pose to them today and say, name one institution needs a normal integrity, like they won't compromise or cannot be compromised. Can we say the same thing to them today? The question most Ghanaians are asking today and say, "Now that after the BBA Ghana, you did a soldier for me." Say, "Omu breaking Ramadan." I heard Harun Edrison joining saying that Ghana and the Akufo-Addo has become a police state. So Kingsley, 2017, about say 5 years along the line, up to date, how do you assess Akufo-Addo's national security? We are Manas Abefa. Now the attacks on journalists and accounts. There are two topic one. Kingsley, just
only Medasi. So you see, for me, I keep saying, say, if we continue to play cheap party politics, we will get used to it. We will get immune to it. We will just feel like it is normal. Whoever is in power and the problems are happening, let us lay the problems in front of their doorsteps and let them deal with it. If they leave power, another person come and they fool, let us do the same thing on them. Now, let's get to Ghana and that 2020, just before Parliament took the sitting, somehow, military men with gun, ammunition, with cars were released when there was no president to come to our parliament. The only authority in Ghana the night of 7th December. The only authority in Ghana the night of 7th December. Military men came there to keep the so-called control people happening there. Up to today, who ordered them? Whose head is rolling? Who is being dismissed? Who is being sacked? Nothing has happened. From the very day Nana Addo took over office, 2017, we've seen military police people beating at the Flagstaff House. Nothing happened. We've seen abroad go on rampage, beating people in Ghana freely. Nothing happened. Unfortunately, sadly to say, Major Mahama, the case is still in court. Somehow we were able to finish a presidential election case in less than 4 months. But Major Mahama, years down the line, is still a big issue. Former MP, no matter when it happened, it's still up to today. We don't even know who. We don't seem to know. We don't seem to care. I'm saying that the security situation in Ghana today, everybody is scared. We've seen maiming, we've seen destruction, we've seen people, we've seen our like you are saying, our military being used like a toy. Like military, hey, go and guard this land for me, and they are running. Today, our military is so corrupt. that they even go to the bushes and Galamsey is still going on. Those days, Ghana. Joking, let me describe one small joke. Do you know that among all the runabouts in Accra, the only one which is the most busiest is Circle, and that is the only one that nobody crosses because of what happened and those days, the Rwandans and Salif Amakos, and those days when military people were beating people who crossed the center there. Just that nobody crosses there because of the fear that is there. The military that everybody fears. We fear them. Today, military means nothing in Ghana. People are arrested from the bushes, and all of them are in military uniform. Some, for example, of military uniform. There is nothing about the military that makes any sense anymore because there is nobody that is in charge. Look at you said it's a time with the meeting of the journalists. Look at what happened to this CTFM journalist at the military installation at the Ministry of
National Security.
You see, national security.
Yeah, that's the issue.
The military released the how do you call it? The military released a statement, and it is so laughable. Abacha, for an installation like that is supposed to be revered and protected so carefully. Don't you think that there should be at least a video camera, a video surveillance?
I believe there is one. Maybe mobile be released. That was my thinking.
Okay. Right. So if you are going to release a statement that is going to carry so much falsehood, can't you just shut up? Can't you just shut up? If you don't have anything to say to appease the people of Ghana, if you don't have anything to say that would be close to the truth, why don't you just shut up? Why do you have to embarrass yourself and put your hand? When I read the statement, I said, oh, so this man also just signed this thing. So do you have to do this to yourself today? And I'm so happy to say it was CTFM journalist because Samara Tamensa, who followed another to this country, to General Assembly meetings and all of that, seen with Gadio Chidako and co, and joining them. So the only reason why I don't want to be hard on Samara.
No. Kizzy, don't go that direction. And cut that direction. What do you mean?
Okay. Let's bring it back.
Okay.
Let's bring it back. So let us rather change that statement to say it is unfortunate that has happened to any journalist. But the attack on journalism, Manasi, who is in falsehood on Fort Bahama, he still survived. He stayed in Ghana. Nothing happened to him. He worked. Anas Arabia, Anas, and the President Kufo, and the President Mills, and the Bahama, just Akufo-Addo alone. You see, and again, somebody may say, oh, it is not another who sat on TV, who showed pictures. Kennedy Japan didn't do it by his own volition. And when he did it, what did Anado say? President Mills, Katio Chizaku's newspaper, front page, Mills is a poodle. Nothing happened to him. Nothing happened to him. Somebody said Mills is a chimpanzee. Was arrested from top radio. Was arrested. President Mills released him with immediate effect. That is a president that cares. Another pretends as though he cannot hear what is happening in the country.
But you see, can I just chip into there? And that's one say, even though he's outside the country, but why instruct say the secretary, which is Asante Bediye too, then the Minister for National Security, which is Kandapa, Honorable Kandapa. Say, investigate at the end of call happen or National Security Office. So I think that decision is very swift and very in the right direction.
My brother, let me ask you a rhetorical question. Abasha, what happened from the Administration Commission of Ayawasu?
The commission recommended say Azugu. I'm sorry, thanks for the correction. Azugu. You ain't taking it out. Not that unit,
But that double also.
Yes, that unit, Yeah, you're getting it out of the national security.
Who swiftly put that commission together?
Oh, he's the president. On the issue, high people from that commission.
Okay, so you have a hope in this same person. Again, I'm not saying that. No, the thing is that there are things that we do as a country, the president will do, that is looking beautiful to the camera. But the character of the person should tell us something. What happened in Ayawaso West Wogan? And that for nobody to fall. Like, there are things you can do. You can settle Azugu on the side nicely and hide him. Double is at the airport holding two Motorola's and being a big man. You go, you land in Kotoka, you see double. He's there. He's still a big man there. So I'm saying to you, sir, I am.
Hold on.
Maza.
I'm saying that's a drop a line. What's up, back? So please, you can move on.
Yes. So the character of the person who is speaking to you, yes, see, the person. If Abacha you today, who can say $10, I bet you because the person who set up a committee like this one, like the Iowa committee, publicly on TV, we saw everything. That even somebody like Poladomachi was so excited, wanted to go and testify. At the end of the day, and a paper was issued. Broad day paper was issued. The president of Ghana could settle Azuku on the side nicely. He could settle Double nicely. Today, Double is still at the airport. When they land there, you see a guy who is political Double all the time, up and down. Navy or black bag, that is Double. Mid 5.7, 5.8 looking guy. That is Double. He's still at the airport today. So, in this same president, who moved swiftly, set up a whole commission and did nothing about it. And there are several examples
so,
like that.
In conclusion, what you are trying to tell us is because I was there, even though certain commission now then they want to act upon the report of the commission. The way I was instructing baby, is that what you are trying to say? All right, can I also ask a question here? I don't know how it may sound to you. I don't mean to sound political, but don't you think, opposition parties so more influence? Because I listened to Sam George. He was one of the victims. Right. I said, "You're born as I don't mean to say to mock him or anything.
Oh no, I say, you're born as
You're born as and the guy up to date, Okasa he's yearning for justice. So he even suggests Obeko court mandamus so that the court will force the president to go by the report of the commission. Minimum as our story in Akusi. And the same person Azuku, your friend say police is that the right pronunciation? Azugu.
Yes.
Azugu. Yes. The office in Sa City News, gentleman asked him to
he was involved. It was not just his office. He was involved in the meeting. Again.
Okay. With that one, woman guy like so boni bi mom. Or say
he said it in his interview with Zoe and Benadagle on CTFM TV.
Oh, I listened to
he mentioned names.
I made a program even
he mentioned Azugu.
Oh, okay. I saw mention about man Tibaby can say Obuni, but anyway.
Oh no, he said he beat himself.
Oh, okay.
Obuni.
All right, maybe I missed that.
There was only one guy that he gave respect to. I forgot his name. He said that guy was professional. That guy did well. But Azugu, I mentioned all of them. They were all the beat him. You see, again, this same president who have superintended over so much wrong, and the closest we came to an apology and an was I was misled. When things go wrong and Ananado badly, he said I was misled. He doesn't say I take full responsibility. Look, leaders, I have seen, I don't know if you have seen the video where the Prime Minister of the UK promised his people, said, this is what you expect from me, the buck stuck with me. And he was definite, the buck stuck with me, I am responsible, I take full responsibility. Trump left office 4 months, didn't hear his name mentioned in Ghana. 5 years after John Mahama, up to today, every people are still blaming John Mahama. 5 years. 5 years. Another is still thinking, we actually, you run for office for 1 term. 4 years. The office is that 1 term is ended. And I'm still cleaning John Mahama's mess. I'm cleaning my John Mahama's mess. Up to now, Nanado doesn't want to take responsibility for anything in Ghana. Nanado is the one who orchestrated the beating. He continued to allow this stupidity to continue in our country, Ghana. He continued to allow this people to feel, say, look, didn't we see the beating in the court in Kumasi? What happened? Did Nanado not speak on that one? Did the Chief Justice at the time, Goria Kufu, and whatever the name was, did she not say that let us investigate? What happened? Then they go see here. What happened? Nanado continued to set up committees that nothing happens. People, you know what is going to happen? Just like you are trying to do right now. Oh yeah, I was setting up a committee. 6 months will come, nothing will happen.
Right,
so he doesn't allow us to speak about it.
So in a way, you agree with those Ekas and another government need create culture of silence?
Absolutely. I mean, from the journalist silencing to the measure that happened and no action was taken to the use of so much force. The military, even in our parliament house, it showed the force that comes on you when you attempt anything. Again, just like many people did, just like many people have said, even if somebody commits crime in Ghana, especially like national security, just like in America here, you get arrested, you get arraigned before court. Even people who went to the January 6th insurrection in America here, they are reviewing tapes and just taking them to court. Right? Nobody is arrested and just like, we will show you, we will deal with you. Look, if the president show, do you remember when a police officer beat a lady in a bank? Do you remember?
Yeah, no. I remember that. I remember.
Yes. What happened?
The lady was even having a child or something.
Yes. Yes, it was one of the parties who ran and took the child from police officer Bono. Up to now, nothing publicly from the police office, from the settlement. It was despite a goal, despite donated a house to the lady or something like that. Who helped to settle this person? Why? Why is our country like that? Why is our country like this? Look, if one of them, if one of police officer is set as an example, if one is set as an example, this nonsense will not continue. When Nels saw the video of Anas Adueme announced, didn't you see his press statement? Didn't you see his press statement? Didn't you see the immediate effect? When judges were indicted as John Mahama, didn't you see the effect immediately?
All right.
Up to date, one of my very
with this final question, Kingsley. So, what do you think?
Yes.
So, who government Nasa or critique such intimidatory art environment or critique culture of silence? What direction now puts the country in? Or what signal now sending the citizens, and what will be the end? Conclude we now, Manas, and so in the last topic. We are just left for 7 minutes. You take I'm saying.
Yes. The conclusion is simple. Nana Akufo-Addo wants to be president. You see, his first State of the Nation address, or say, no matter what you do, Hansard will record me. Hansard will record me. Go back and listen to it. Or say, president of Ghana. That is what he wanted to be. He wanted to be president of Ghana. You see, some of us, even though we knew that Nana was going to be a terrible president, just like Kofi Kumsin and other people have said. That's what we knew. But we thought, being an old man, he has nothing to lose. He would have helped Ghana build strong, solid foundation for our country, for us to springboard and build upon. But Nana have been so complacent. He has been so weak. He has been an authorist president, so useless that he does not do anything. Like, if we didn't have a president today, everybody, even children, people get up and do video and talk anyhow in our country. And if you joke and you mention his name, today, even the journalist, Captain Smart, why? Didn't the general manager tell us that this is why he was sacked? That he insulted Nana Akufo-Addo? Why we not do that Captain Smart was sacked because they say he insulted Nana and his rights and alignment. So if a country where you can just see why private
for proper reportage, let me say Captain Smart had a suspension for now. Today, hold you and say.
But does it matter? The point is that whether he is really reprimanded, he still remain on air. Do we have to have a country where journalists are reprimanded because somebody is insulted? Because my cousin would take a now you are reprimanded. I was working as a kid. So just because of that. That's because go out there, apologize for this statement. This is the evidence. Whether we were just reprimanded, it doesn't matter. But the president is so affected or so moved. Why? Haven't you heard insult about a Trump? Don't you hear insult about Biden? So we defend that law.
Manasseh,
yes,
just a quick response. Don't say that we'll far more time on fix the country. Kingsley's not taking much time on the security and the journalists.
I'll be quick.
You will now conclude just 3 minutes on Galamsey.
Kingsley has spoken well. Kingsley has actually taken a lot of air out of my sail. And I would say, this security issue, I just concur with almost everything Kingsley said. When Kufuor came in the 2000s, right? I remember that was the time that police were going to peacekeeping and etc. And it came to a point, I said, why were the police giving so much of space to operate? But after almost 8 years and going back to the Kufuor regime, maybe police those were the times we have leadership in Ghana. Let me just tell you the truth. I've not seen any leadership trait in Akufo-Addo. I was at the same fear that a lot of us had, that Akufo-Addo will be just one big Joe Block, people who come with block-headed, narcissist behavior. I know it all. I'm the always best.
and then do whatever pleases him was just exactly what is being in spectacular display. We remembered very well the national security issue and then the Voltairean question. Okay, yes. When a lot of this citizenship issue arose during the the IB time, Omar deployed a lot of people who were national security operatives to the borders. You remember that time?
Yes.
And then there were so many other things that happened that people of well-meaning spoke against. Voltaire said, Argentina just normal way crossing. Our flower and etc. Now national security are people who have to bring. Soldiers are people who have to be almost everywhere inundating our streets, and then we can't even be moved. You understand? We can't move. We can't have any freedom of expression. And when you look at that trend, and then to even issues like the also issue that we just spoke about, right? The beating of some George, the firing of firearms by Hannah Kumsin, and all, is it Hawa Kumsin or Hannah Kumsin? Wasn't it? Hawa Kumsin. And all these kind of pockets of issues about Nana Doni executives. Have you ever seen one of them ever investigated, let alone prosecuted? And then there's a situation that happened even in our parliament, when even a president have to deploy a whole national security. He said he's not the one who deployed. But what happened to the person who has to take responsibility? And the trend has shown itself. And yet only just these issues. When you look at even the security aspect of our country, Ghana, you see armed robbery is on the rise.
It is.
Killings are just indiscriminate in Ghana. From the missing, kidnapping of Takoradi girls to places that you never be envisaged there. Issues of this sort will happen. That is what is happening in the country. And people are so lawless because they think that this is the kind of president we need to be there, and he's there. And at the end of the day, nothing is going to be done. And that is exactly what we are saying. Now, let me just put it together with the issue of even this Galamsey. You understand? So that make it easier.
Oh, okay. So now you're on the last topic. That's good. Let's do that.
Exactly.
Because Mami setting up the pace for the for Galamsey issue. We've observed it. I don't want to go so much into the history. The same government, a former task force called the Vanguard, Operation Vanguard. Vanguard didn't fail here. Internet is here. Almost deploy over 200 military men. So take over from the Vanguard. But what the Vanguard in Penny for? No person much I say. What they are trying to say is even them, as people who went to fight the Galamsey, there were certain people who wanted to bribe them with huge amount of money. And on that chance. Secondly, certain government officials will influence on them. Then the not any influence be like what the market talk is like a show of force, but at the same time, what compromise may ethics and answer my obligations to prevent people from doing the Galamsey. So I know something has some work. I see even him for be cry involved. So from the traditional rulers to the high profile politicians, it's like they are playing with Ghanaians. So my question is, can we get to the bottom of this? Can we fight the Galamsey? If so, how?
And as I'm speaking with you, you guys, I sent somebody to Dunkanofin for just this Galamsey issue. Because my PhD dissertation is actually in that town, around the surrounding area, the river, etc. So the person just arrived back from Accra. You know when the call dropped? It was the same gentleman that called me. The same thing that we are talking about right now was what he went and witnessed. From the pollution of the Fin River to everybody that he met in town, talking about this issue and the issue of our info, and then even individual government collaborators doing Galamsey have all surfaced. And if you ask me, say, is it banning of excavators that is going to solve this issue? Is it deploying task force in Operation Vanguard, or maybe soldiers or whatever they call them, that is going to put fear on this operation and it will stop? I don't think so. Galamsey has been compromised on every extent. Government has infiltrated it. Anka, if we leave the hands of politicians out of the issue of Galamsey, and the traditional rulership, any councils have their own modalities to fight it, maybe I will make a progress. But what do you say? You see, the political powers of the chiefs have already been taken away by the police and all this. Exactly. The constitution, just let's say it that way. You understand? So they are just there. They don't have the flesh and muscle to fight this. And banning excavators is not going to stop it. Like there was one video I watched today where about a radius mile of 5 kilometers even away from the Galamsey side, these people had pipes. That still sent effluent into the river. With this, the arsenic and all these mercuries. Are you getting it? And now pregnant women are giving birth with deformed children and etc. And I don't think the government is doing much. And I don't think the unconventional method they are using, just burning excavators and then just apprehending the people. Because most of the people that they are even apprehending are just the surface. You understand? The real absentee landlords of Galamsey are there. And they are still the same people who are in government. So you send these people as cosmetic dressing of the issue. Are you getting it? At the end of the day, that's Chinese owned land who gave you the concessions. You understand? Even if he has a concession, who gave you the license to operate? Right. What is here? What is the screening procedure? You understand? That one law does not even allow foreigners to come into a country and etc. and just be operating on distance. You understand? So you realize that the fight is just not a winnable one. And I think that government has to understand the failure, the systemic failure in the whole fight against Galamsey. We should find means and ways where the various chieftains institutions and the traditional rulers can come together, coalesce with government. If government has to work its heads entirely out of it. And I heard Asante Hini's speech too. What is that? Most of these lands that were given by these same chiefs. The traditional methods, the indigenous methods, I was thinking that we can use to fight Galamsey. Unfortunately, the people who will preside over it are the same people who have given a lands to the government infiltrators and the Chinese. So it's a messy situation as we speak. And for me, I think that we should get serious as a country. What is it? Politicians have just been playing a chess game with us. And if we continue this way, and to come to a time, we'll wake up and there will not be any country. Seriously.
All right, Casey. Concluding on that, we're quick.
Abacha, quickly. This is one issue. I think Nanado promised that he has delivered. Nanado, in his 2015 statement in Takwa, he says, before the NAM, say, me, Nanado Dankwa, me ba me Galamsey, and no crab back me ba me semukina. That was his words. It is available on the internet. Now, you see, this Galamsey fight, if Nanado Dankwa want to fight it, there's easiest fight. You don't need. This is what you don't need brains to fight. First of all, call the Chinese ambassador to Ghana to your office,
right?
And just have a conversation. Have a conversation with him and simplify things with him. Tell him first of all, I want to know every Chinese that is in my country. That is, even if you don't know already from your data that you're collecting at the airport. If you don't know, I want to know. Now, once I know, I want to know the work they are doing. About me, if I'm the president of Ghana, I won't even go to the bushes. 2, I will make gold selling of any form and exportation illegal in my country. Apart from the Ghana government selling means, which is PMMC. Make it illegal to own gold, to hold gold, to sell gold. It is illegal. Then 3, just go to the houses, the towns that these things are prevailing. In the evening, good evening. How are you doing? You are Chinese. What are you doing here?
Guys, gentlemen. So, Kingsley, you have no hope, sir.
Yes.
There will be an end to the Galamsey fight. Anyway, once more, let me thank you. Let me thank 2 of you for your time and for your contribution. We'll be counting on you as we move on with this GH. But I'm a fan of. I wouldn't just say a fan. I'm also among those that made champions say, fix the country, You see, we should not politicize it. Even to my fellow MPP for the NDC for, it shouldn't be politicized because the agenda of these guys, almost create a better system for the country. A better system means we're going to have good education, good basic needs of life. Those are water, electricity, roads, to avoid, not necessarily avoid, to limit that road accidents, Accra to Kumasi, MPP for Penefaso, and NDC for Penefaso. There are non-partisan crowds of Fasubi. So I think that this call is in the right direction. I'm a flyer and I may share them. I'm going to say a China. It's called Fix the Country Virtual Demo. Sunday, 16th May 2021 at 1 p.m. But I listened to almost convener no any almost big mouthpiece of US, which is Kevin Taylor and Crawford. Almost say Twitter and don't make me share. Almost share as much. Will be on target the president, need the executive powers and the various embassies and high commission. We are seeing it. But Zoom, no, they've been limited to only 1,000 people, so you don't necessarily have to be there. Look. A future beer you create say one day. Bring a political awareness, political accountability, and or let me say stewardship. Because you lead this be there's nothing like stewardship. To me, any political line for the interest of the country, I actually vouch for it. And I will echo every day beer because it's for the betterment of the country. Kingsley and Manasseh. Thank you so much.
Charlie, thank you very much.
No, you're welcome. And I'm a person in the cancer. I say, shed your womb. Never make a decision, yet you will be can. Okay? If within 4 years, we bet me change the future of an individual, be also about Joe power, there be you crama. Now, with your 4 years, soon to mean some baraba. It is about time we reassess the kind of ideology I run a croon. The system are behind yes democracy. And every beer need to attribute to because physical events there, you role to play as a nation. But the danger today in our country, a politicization or say how polarized our country is. And as something my you making decisions that it's been very disturbing and it's a worrying situation. Because you see, we will be observing Ghana now with your quiet now showing your across the room. You could see say not only that political leadership disappointed citizens, it has actually failed completely. And then we had opportunity to talk about fix the country. China and I'm so more demonstration will be able to join. All what you need to do is to share. There may be certain personalities behind this, you may not like them. But what I'm saying is that go with their content. It's like modern day podcasting or broadcasting. It is about the content. It's not about the individual sitting there. See, now that mindset in this politicians we've given up on the moment to be near we need a good system to realize your future or to achieve your high potentials. So at this point, I will entreat each and every one say, let's support them. You who cause be and go be pursue during the Kumipreko. And we saw 1992 how they returning Ghana into multi-party democracy. The same way, today I tested these guys when they were having their program. I said, you guys are making a decision for the young generation and the unborn generation. Because I did since 1992. Yeah, individuals need to share benefit you. Almost yeah, citizens and local people. Now you humpo your chance uncle for be. If you don't know, I'm telling you. But when they get into government, and then look at them, the kind of life they are all leading. And one thing I'm back and I'm observing, the poor people, or sorry to say, the underprivileged people in the country, they tend to envy themselves. If you want to envy anybody, envy those public officials. The first question is, again, when we are within this 4 or 5 years, Omo life I better. Mo di omu to me some. I will say a big thank you to everybody. Every Saturday from 6 to 7:30. We have this show called GH. How do we say it as it is, irrespective of our political affiliation? And then we talked about the national security under Nana Akufo-Addo. And we talked about attacks on journalists in a city there. We also talked about Galamsey. Then we also talked so much about fix the country hashtag. A lot of people thought, say, na court, order nearby, the decision our state need taking, which is the police need taking, Now Ebe ended the campaign, but it didn't. Let me commend the conveners and those that have taken upon themselves. Some don't be so live good history, more achieve BB. Say if not for their self-interest, no more they are. Look, nature will even support this cause. Because society is a bonia, it affects everybody. Now society is a papa and so on. A bit boy be a. Is it there? I feel any fee. Ubi abe professor Kobeba Nikrum. I will say a big thank you to everyone and enjoy the rest of your evening.